Hi, I'm Spencer, Director of Content at MQA Labs. I've spent the last 40 years as a recording, mixing, and mastering engineer with the sole aim of capturing and presenting music in its highest resolution to reproduce that emotional magic of live music in a real space. This has meant working in almost every kind of format and technology. And yet, for all the advances we've made, there's always been a veil between the listener and the recording. Here at MQA Labs, we're developing the tools to break down that last barrier between the listener and the performer. So what you're hearing right now is music running through our new plugins, Inspira and Endura. We're very excited to introduce these tools, giving artists unprecedented control over the critical time domain response of every track and mix. In today's video, we'll take a look at Endura, which we've designed to unlock new creative possibilities in the mastering process. This is Endura. Much like its sister plugin Inspira, Endura gives you control over the time domain response, along with advanced dither and noise shaping, but with some important additions and features. While Inspira can be used anywhere across your recording, we highly recommend using Endura only on your final mix bus, and as the very last step in your chain. So here's how it works. With the align set to 0, you're hearing your track without any time domain correction. It sounds fine. In fact, it sounds like what you've been used to hearing, but it's missing that extra sound and texture that was there at the time of the recording. Now, as we move the align control to 4, you can see that the unnatural pre-response has been moved to a much more natural post-response. Now, why 4? Because this is the setting that moves all of the pre-ring while keeping the post-ring to a minimum. In our listening and research, we found this to be the most revealing and natural setting for almost any kind of music, but it does depend on your specific A to D converter, so we encourage you to experiment and find what works best for you. Let's listen to the effect on the mix here. We start off at 0, and as we move the align control to 4, the timbre of the instruments deepen, and the soundstage opens up. You can hear the ambience around every instrument clearly, and the images are solidified. The bass tightens, and the lower mid-range reveals a more natural timbre, while the digital edge is smooth. Moving the align control past 4 lengthens the post ring. You may find this useful in certain cases to add a little bit of edge back into your track. But for ultimate control, and to give everyone a better idea of how pre-ring affects the sound of your track, the plugin can add pre-ring. Moving the align control into the negative numbers has the effect of thinning the track and giving it a definite digital edge, but you may find that to be an enhancement in your work. A negative setting is also useful in cases where you need to remove some excessive post-ring. Some may also use it to educate their ears on the exact nature of the pre-ring response, but ultimately, the control is left in the artist's hands. Just like Inspira, the Align tool also works in conjunction with the dithering and noise shaping tools here on the right. Dither is a tiny amount of inaudible noise added to the signal that opens up the depth and resolution of your track. Used together with noise shaping, dither is completely inaudible and beneficial to your dynamic range. The noise shapers here have been specially designed and selected for use in your stereo bus, and they come in 4 basic families: flat, air, and psychoacoustic, as well as auto. The flat shaper is just that. It distributes your dither evenly or flatly across the audio spectrum. The air family shapes some of the noise into the higher frequencies and away from our mid-range where it might be more detectable. Psychoacoustic shapers follow complex curves that mimic the shape and response of our human hearing system. Now, we find that the air shapers tend to have a lighter and somewhat brighter sound, while the psychoacoustic shapers lend a bit more meat or solidity to your master. But it's the auto shaper that's the secret weapon that Endura brings that no other DSP can match. Using the learn function, Endura analyzes your track and creates a custom shaper tailored perfectly to your mix. The gray fill here is the illustration of the noise shape of your track, while the amber line shows the shape and depth of the shaper itself, and the white line reflects the output spectrum of the plugin. Now that you have your auto shaper in place, you can compare it to the predefined shapers and find one that best suits your tastes. The depth control is set by what the learn function has determined as the most effective level, but you still have complete control to move the level and adjust it however you like. Another unique feature of Endura is the record and export tool. This unique export function guarantees a bit-perfect capture of your final mix. Why? Because while many workstations aim for bit-perfect exports, not all of them deliver. Endura's record and export dialog box offers a parallel path to your usual offline mixdown, capturing your track exactly as you heard it during mixing and mastering. The assurance metadata preserves all of your custom settings for downstream distribution, allowing for later verification of that same bit-perfect delivery. It will also pass those parameters onto compatible playback devices that optimize the time domain response. With your metadata in place, you can use the Verify tool to compare your Endura master to your DAW's offline render to verify that everything is being delivered exactly to your specification, and give you the assurance that your offline path is also clean. Endura is a special tool that gives you unique control over the time domain response of your music. It can open up and unravel your master to reveal layers of detail and depth, often lost in today's productions. But it can also be stretched and used as a creative enhancement, an educational tool to help you understand how critical the time domain is to our enjoyment of music. With the enhanced and custom noise shapers, paired with our special export tools, you have assurance that your master will be treated to your custom settings and will sound as good as it possibly can everywhere that it's heard. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more from MQA Labs.